Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of the OTS Project. I am your host, Kyle Bridger, alongside my cousin Theo, and we are here to bring you our first episode, a part of the relaunch of the Wrestling Nerds Radio Network. So I'm Kyle Bridger. I am a lifelong wrestling fan. I have been in the wrestling business for over 11 years. I've been a manager, a booker, a promoter, a producer, an announcer, a commentator, almost every role you can have in the world of professional wrestling. I have had it. But I'm also a huge fan of things like Star Wars, Marvel, DC video games, and movies.
Hello, I am Kyle's cousin, Theo, as he so previously mentioned. I'm also his best friend, and if anybody else has a problem with that, come fight me about it. I haven't been as much involved in the business, but I've also just been a big wrestling fan for years now. I've really kind of been a big fan of it for about a decade or so. Been watching every single week and watching all the pay-per-views. We'll watch all the pay-per-views together all the time. Outside of that, I'm an aspiring jazz drummer. I'm trying to get that. That's my passion. I love jazz music. I also love video games, comics, movies, Star Wars, all the nerdy stuff, just like him. Yeah.
So we wanted to start this podcast as a way to hopefully, cultivate maybe a community of fellow fans of what we love, whether it's wrestling, movies, jazz, Marvel, Star Wars, whatever it is. So this podcast is mainly going to cover wrestling, just because that's what I'm mainly versed in, as well as Theo. But it's also going to discuss those other things that we love. So our first topic this week, and our first topic ever really, is going to be our wrestling predictions for the year. But before we dive into that, I want to take a second to shout out the Wrestling Nerds Radio Network and thank them for inviting us to be a part of the relaunch that they've done this year. You can check them out on social media at the WNRN, capital T, lowercase HE, and then all caps WNRN. But also their merchandise shop is shop.wrestlingnerds.us. They have a bunch of really cool designs. The current one I just saw that I really thought was cool was a kind of like a parody of the WWF New Generation logo, but it's for the WNRN. So make sure to check that out. They have some really cool designs up there. So Theo, are you ready to get into our first ever topic?
I am ready to get into it. I am ready for the new year. It's going to be very exciting stuff, I feel like, after this tremendous year that we've had in the wrestling sphere. I think there's a lot of good stuff to come for sure.
I agree. I think before we kind of really do dive into this, I want to say, the past year for wrestling, especially WWE, but wrestling as a whole has been insane. And I feel like wrestling just continues to get bigger and bigger. And I think, for years people say like wrestling was at its peak during the Attitude Era with Stone Cold, that you couldn't get off the subway without seeing a Stone Cold Steve Austin t-shirt and things like that. I think year by year, bro, we are getting back to that. I think wrestling is every year just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think this year, with especially Raw going to Netflix, which is this coming week as we're recording, I think that's going to really change the landscape of things.
Oh yeah, we're definitely in a new peak right now. I mean, when you around the time of like Cody Rhodes becoming like the "We Want Cody" chant and like the "We Want Cody" hashtag, you had like people like Swifties, you had like K-pop stands tweeting this stuff. We've never seen WWE reach these kind of outlets before ever, like pretty much polar opposites to what wrestling is, but we're pretty much just everywhere at this point and just
Right.
continuing to grow.
Yeah, it's huge. So do you want to start with yours or do you want me to start with one?
I want to start with mine because I wrote one down and I have it in brackets at the end of it, just saying, please start with that.
Okay. So one last thing before we do, it's going to, Theo he claims he has about 3 pages worth of predictions for the year. I only wrote down about 5. Solid things that I think, but I think we could, maybe include, and I'm sure Theo probably already has some sort of wacky thing that definitely is not going to happen, but he can hope is going to happen. And I feel like I'm going to come up with one of those on the spot because I thought about that like 5 minutes before we hit record.
It's funny you say that because I'm actually starting with a wacky thing.
All right, so let's go. Number 1, what you got?
I have Jimmy Wang Yang returning in the 2025 Royal Rumble match.
You know what? I'll take it, man. I'll take it. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you follow him on social media, but I do. And he is opening a school. He's built like a shed that he's put a ring in, and he's opening up a school. And part of me wants to think that maybe now that he has a ring that he just has access to at all times, that maybe he's using that as a little bit of a training situation to get him ready for that Royal Rumble this year.
That would be amazing. I need to find this school. I need to go to this school. I need to learn from the master Jimmy Wang Yang.
There you go.
I remember last year we were at the 2024 Royal Rumble in St.
Mm.
Petersburg because it's coming to town right when we go.
Yes, sir.
And we were sitting there, I think like 30 minutes before the show. Both of us are just like quiet, and I just look over at you, and I'm just like, Jimmy Wang Yang is in the building tonight. And of course, it didn't happen, unfortunately, but I think it's gonna happen this year. It's got to happen at some
Okay.
point. I need it to happen.
You know what? You and me, more so you, but I'll join you with it. I would love to see it happen, and we may be the only two people that are really passionate about having this happen.
Let me tell you, man,
But
when that music hits, there are gonna be at most 8 people in that arena popping off,
uh-huh.
and that's it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna move on to my first one because it is the same vein. It is a return in the Royal Rumble. Well, it's a return in general, but I would really hope in the Royal Rumble. And there would be a lot more than 8 people popping if this woman's music hit in the Women's Rumble this year. And so my first prediction for the year is that AJ Lee is somehow returning, man. I was praying that it was going to happen when we were at the Rumble because that would have been not only a really cool moment, but an incredible moment to be there in person for. And sadly, it didn't happen. But I feel like that is going to be something that's going to be that's going to be on my list of yearly predictions until it happens. So that's my first prediction is that AJ Lee is returning to WWE to have, probably one last legitimate run.
I mean, that would be amazing. I feel like that'd probably be one of the like greatest like women's returns ever.
Mm,
I mean, people have been asking for this for years now, and now that CM Punk is back and he's in
mm,
like a full drive, I think now more than ever is it likely to happen.
right. And I also, CM Punk's back, and I feel like every time he gets interviewed, they always ask him, "Will we ever see your wife back in the ring?" And he always has to like skate around it. But also on top of that, if you really look at like social media, I know you're not like super versed on social media in general, really, but like really, seeing everything in wrestling. But I constantly see people like Bailey, Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez just constantly posting about or pestering CM Punk about AJ Lee coming back. And so I feel like Bailey is actually, they're not Bailey, Roxanne, Cora are actually friends with AJ Lee. So I feel like if they pester her as much as they pester CM Punk, it's just gonna happen because she's just gonna be like, even if she doesn't want to do it, she's gonna be like, let me do this till they stop texting me every week about doing it.
I think
So
if it does happen, it'll probably just be like a one-time Royal Rumble thing. I can't imagine her like coming back full time or anything like that. But it still would
I don't
just
know,
be
man.
amazing to see her one
I
more time.
I, I agree. I think in general, even if it's just one time she just showed up in the Rumble, that would be great. But man, if she came back for one run, the matches we could have, her versus Bailey, her versus Roxanne Perez would probably be match of the year. Like I feel like there's a long list of incredible matches that she could have if she did come back for an actual run.
That's definitely true. I think there's a lot of good stuff they could do with her if they do bring her back full time. But I feel like she's going on her own professional route. I just don't really see it
Mm.
happening all that much. But it still would be amazing, nevertheless.
So what's number 2 on your list?
Number two, it's definitely more of a serious one for sure. I do have a lot of jokes one on here, but this one's
Mm.
definitely more serious. Jay Uso will win the Money in the Bank briefcase this year.
Okay,
Uh,
I
I
feel
think
like that's spot on.
I feel like it has to happen this year. It didn't happen last year. I predicted it would happen last year, and it didn't happen. But
Mm.
I just feel like he is so hot, has such high energy. I was just at SmackDown in
Mm.
Tampa last week
Mm.
with our good friends, and
Mm.
he was like the dark main event, I guess you could call it, because it wasn't
Yeah,
like
the dark
aired or
match.
anything like that.
Mm.
Yeah, dark match. And man, nobody stood up almost the entire time SmackDown was going. When that man's music hit, there was not an ass in a seat, bro. Every single person in that arena was standing up, doing the yeet chants, all that stuff. Even I was doing it. I was like hooked on it. It was
Mm.
like a cult of yeet. And I
Right.
just think they really have to ride this like success that Jey Uso is having. I need to see this man in some sort of like main event title match for sure. And I think giving him the Money in the Bank briefcase would be a great way of doing that.
I don't think that's far off at all. I think that's pretty spot on. I feel like it's probably him or LA Knight.
Hmm.
But even LA Knight, not that we had this discussion about when I thought he was cooked the other day. I don't think he's cooked, but I feel like his hype has definitely died down compared to what it was about 2 years ago. Um, so I would say he could definitely win, but I feel like Jay's probably the pick to win the men's Money in the Bank this year.
For sure.
So number 2 on my list is, I don't even have these listed, so I'm just kind of going off of which ones I want to talk about next.
Mhm.
So I'm going to talk about, for me, number 2, I'm going to predict that Drew McIntyre will win the World Heavyweight Championship. I
I was.
I
This was
think
teetering in my brain.
I think he it's not even necessarily like, oh, he'll win the World Heavyweight Championship because it just makes sense, even though it would make sense. It's more so a behind the scenes thing where I think Triple H would probably just go, dude, this is your gift for doing the incredible work that you've done all this time, but especially in the past year, because he's always been solid. He literally carried WWE on his back along with like Bayley and Sasha Banks through the pandemic when there was no fans. But even the last year, his heel work, man, the stuff he's done has been absolutely incredible. And I think it would make sense. But more importantly, I think that would be Triple H kind of saying, here's a run that you deserve. Because I also think, maybe it's a hot topic, maybe it's not, I think he should have been the person to beat Roman at Clash at the Castle. I thought the stuff with Cody obviously made sense, and it was very emotional and beautiful, and it worked. But I just thought, man, there was such a great moment at that Clash of the Castle when it was him and Roman, that I really wanted Drew to win, and I felt really let down that he didn't get his due, I guess. So I think this year he's winning the world title, and that's kind of Triple H's way of saying, like, thank you for being a company guy and thank you for doing incredible work.
Yeah, I think he definitely deserves himself an actual legitimate title run with the
Mm,
World Heavyweight Championship. I think he could be a great champion.
mm,
Obviously, does amazing character work. I would say, arguably speaking, that his feud with CM Punk last year was probably feud of the year.
yeah, I would say so.
Always a great superstar in the ring. Um, has been doing great work just all year round. I could definitely see this man becoming a World Heavyweight Champion and doing a great job with it.
Hell yeah, let's hope it happens.
Let's hope it happens. So I'm gonna go into another joke one, but I'm just gonna kind of do that one shortly because then I want to segue into an actual serious one.
Mm.
Uh, this isn't even really one for 2025. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley will be feuding until the year 2050. These two are gonna have to end up killing each other for this feud to die.
Uh,
And I really need it to happen sooner than that. It's getting so stale at this point. I need just them to move on from this whole thing. Give us a new women's champion on Raw entirely, and just get away from this whole debacle because
yeah, I
it's
mean,
just boring.
I don't disagree. I mean, as we're recording this, SmackDown was last night, and we're going into the first Raw on Netflix on Monday, so it's Saturday. And they have a match on Raw. So I think we're all kind of hoping this is it. This is the blow off of the feud, and I think we're all kind of right about it. I think this is going to be the last match. But yeah, I agree. Like, it has been very long, and I feel like it's all, not only has it been long, it's just been a little complicated and like a little convoluted, because like Rhea she like broke her nose or whatever and had to disappear for like a couple weeks. So that probably prolongs stuff. Like, it's all, I don't know, it's just all kind of like dragged on a little too long and whatnot. I think it's time to end it, and hopefully Raw's premiere episode on Netflix on Monday will be the one that does it. But I will say, obviously Rhea's gonna win the world title. If this is the blow off, like, Rhea is gonna win the world title. But I need Dominic Mysterio to take a riptide. I feel like that needs to be. It's not even necessarily a funny thing. It's just like, I feel like the feud is Rhea and Liv, and it's been Rhea and Liv. But in reality, it's really like them fighting over Dom, and Dom is really the one that started all of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, in a way, like, he didn't, but they already had issues before, but he's what escalated it because Liv stole Dom from Rhea. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I feel like Dom has to take a riptide, in the way of like, it's closing the book on, or at least closing the chapter of a book on the Rhea and Liv feud. But it's also like the closure on Rhea and Dom's like story, So I think he needs to eat a riptide as like a way of like, she gets her she gets her lick back against Liv by beating her, and she gets her lick back against Dominic by like kind of humiliating him and kind of beating the shit out of him, and that's how I think it ends. So yeah, I would say it does need to end, and when it does end, hopefully on Monday, that Dom needs to eat a riptide.
Yeah. Here's hoping.
Mm. All right.
On to the more serious one now, though.
Mm.
WWE Speed will die this year. it's
Okay.
it's over. It's over. I honestly don't know how this thing is still going. To be honest with you, outside of just money going in between X and WWE,
Right.
there's really just like no publicity for it
Mm.
outside of X, which doesn't really help. I mean, Michael Cole saying something about it for 5 seconds on a episode of Raw or SmackDown about like, oh, the new Speed Championship is going to be held between Akira Tozawa and Ludwig Kaiser. Nobody cares. These are like
Right.
mid low card wrestlers that are fighting for a title that does not appear outside of X. I had to look up who the champion was. I didn't even remember there was a Speed Championship until I saw it on the roster last night. Like, it's just insane. They need to either really just publicize this thing on all their platforms or just kill the whole thing. Because having it like as an X exclusive in every sort of the term is just not working.
I agree. I think from the jump, it should have been an all or nothing thing, and I think a lot of things, with the exception of probably a few things, but I think most things in anything really is like you got to go all in or you got to just not do something. And this is like a perfect example of that. If they were gonna do that, it should have been all in. Like the matches I get are exclusive on X. That's fine. That's what you're paying for. But like I remember when everything started happening with that, and people started asking like, why isn't this title on TV? And Ricochet, who's no longer in WWE but was the inaugural champion, was like, because X paid for it to be that way. Why? I don't. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you like? This title is exclusive to X. This is the X Championship essentially. Why would
Mhm.
you not want it to be put in every situation that it could be? If Ricochet is champion, why would you not want to promote this Speed show by having him on Raw with the Speed Championship? And same thing with the women. So from the jump, like I agree with you. It should have been all or nothing. I feel like in general, again, it's like if you're in this thing, whether it's WWE or the MCU or even Star Wars, it's like technically it's like this is all like a shared universe kind of situation. You know what I'm saying? In the WWE, things happen on Raw and things happen on SmackDown, but Raw and SmackDown are in the same universe. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes those things cross over. Sometimes someone from Raw goes to SmackDown, vice versa. So it's like if you're gonna do something in the WWE, it needs to be something that could be showcased on everything. You know, there's been times like an example would be the NXT championship. That's a championship that is exclusive to NXT, right? But there has been times where not only has it shown up on Raw or SmackDown because the NXT champion shows up on Raw or SmackDown, but it also has been defended on Raw when Braun Breaker and Dolph Ziggler had a title match for the NXT title on Raw. You know what I'm saying? But it makes sense because it's all the same world, you know? So it's like, same thing with Speed. Maybe you don't defend it on Raw, but he should have been walking around with it whenever you saw Ricochet on TV or in a digital exclusive like they do for Instagram and stuff like that or YouTube. He should have always had the championship. Same with the women, like Candice LeRae had the title or whatever. She should have always had the championship with her when she's on. If she's making an appearance for WWE, she should have the championship with her. That's how I
Right.
look at it for any title. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I agree. Like I think I don't know if it's gonna die, but this is long winded, so I'm gonna slow down. But I don't know if it's gonna die essentially, but I I feel like it in general, even if it doesn't die, it's already dead in the water because it just doesn't seem like they care.
Yeah, exactly. There's also the problem of Speed being exclusive to X. Not everybody is on X.
Right.
Looked this up last night of their like stats of like their like how many followers WWE has on like different social medias. Of like the
Mm,
four like main social medias that WWE has,
mm,
X is their least performing social media page by far.
right.
I have the stats pulled up. I don't want to get all like numerical on it, but like I honestly kind of
I
have
mean,
to
yeah,
because
you
it's
don't
ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it makes sense.
yeah, X has 14.3 million followers.
Mhm,
Their Instagram page has 33.5 million, which is already
mhm.
more than double what they have on X. Facebook has 86 million followers,
It's all them old people.
all the old people, and their YouTube page has 106 million followers. These matches are 3 minutes long. The
Mm.
videos that they are uploading almost every single time are 3 minutes long. Just upload them there, and you're getting almost 10 times the audience paying attention to this stuff.
I mean, that sounds great in theory, but unfortunately they can't
They
because
can't.
X is paying them a crazy
Yeah,
amount of money. You know what I'm saying?
money.
So that's the issue.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I just think but in general, it could be not dead. I'm just gonna keep harping on this damn thing. It
Yeah.
could be not dead in the water if it was different. If someone showed up on Raw with the Speed Championship and you go, here is Dragon Lee, who's the Speed Champion, and he's teaming with Rey Mysterio, that gives you the opportunity to promote that show. So people may, like I feel like part of it is people probably already forgot that exists. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because they don't even talk about it. They don't even promote it anymore except for maybe once a show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Michael Cole will quickly go, hey, make sure you check out Speed this Wednesday. It's going to be Dragon Lee versus Carlito. You know what I'm saying? It's like very fast. If Dragon Lee walked out on Raw with the Speed Championship, that would make someone go, oh, I kind of forgot about that. Let me go, you know what? Let me go. It's commercial break. Let me go check that out. You know what I'm saying? And a commercial
Right.
break that's at least 5 minutes long, if not longer, you could have watched the Speed match in that time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, yeah, maybe it won't die, but I think it's already dead in the water. And if they want it to change, they need to talk to whoever they need to, like at X, and be like, hey, we need to actually, utilize this on our TV if we can.
Right. At the least.
So I'm gonna transition to, um, let's go with, I'm gonna say WWE this year is gonna sign, um, so this is a prediction, but I don't know because I don't know when people's contracts are up for sure. But I could say that for sure, Jordan Grace is signed. Like she's
Mhm.
probably already signed, or saying is about to be signed because her TNA contract, I'm pretty sure expired on January 1st. So Jordan Grace for sure is getting signed, and she's probably doing what she did last year, and she's gonna show up in the Rumble. If she goes to NXT or main roster, that I don't know yet. But I would imagine she's gonna show up in the Rumble and then either go show up on NXT the next week or show up on Raw or SmackDown. But I will also say whenever Ricky Starks' contract is up and whenever Ray Phoenix' contract is up, I think they both are up next year. But I think Ricky Starks' contract is up towards the summer, whereas I think Phoenix's is like more towards the end of the year. But when those contracts are up, brother, those guys are going to WWE. Um,
Mhm.
and I think Ricky Starks will be a great addition to like NXT. And then clearly they're not hiding it anymore. We know that Pentagon is showing up on Raw on Monday on Netflix. Because they've been showing vignettes and each week it's gotten more and more obvious. So when Phoenix's contract is finally up with AEW, he's not going to NXT. He's just definitely going wherever his brother is. So
Right.
they'll probably be a team on Raw by the end of the year. But I also want to say that they're also gonna officially sign someone from the WWE ID program. Um, they have people in the ID program that they just started, but I definitely think by the end of the year, at least one or two people from the program are gonna have actual WWE contracts and are gonna be in NXT.
I think those would be some great additions to the roster, whether they be from TNA or AEW. I
Mm,
always like it when like superstars come over from different brands like that
mm,
and show up. I mean, we saw it with Joe Hendry this year. I mean, it was just like he was like
mm,
one of the hottest things on NXT pretty
yeah.
much all year. So I think we could definitely get similar reactions or similar pops from those other superstars coming over as well.
Mm. And Joe Hendry was someone that I wanted to put on the list, but then I looked it up and his contract isn't up this year.
Hmm.
So he's someone that again will probably be signed by WWE, but I don't know when his contract with TNA is officially up for it. So we could be waiting 3 to 5 years on that.
Right. Uh, I have I have a few, but I'm pretty much just gonna combine it into one because it's just like
Mm,
let's just say this is just my NXT predictions, I guess.
mm.
Trick Williams, Roxanne Perez, and Cora Jade are all getting called up sometime this year.
All right,
I
so
think. Okay, you go
before
ahead. Yeah.
I wanna okay, we could just combine this into one
Hmm.
because I also have a similar, pretty much almost identical thing on my list. So
Right.
I'll just list mine off and then we can just talk about everybody. So
Yeah.
my call-ups this year is Trick, Roxanne,
Hmm.
Cora, but I
Hmm.
also think Ethan Page is probably getting called up,
Hmm.
and I also think the D'Angelo family and Fatal Influence are getting called up.
Okay. I mean, again, those are all great superstars. I think they all have a
Mm,
great potential to also get called up. They've been in NXT for a good few years now.
mm,
I think honestly, they're developed. I think
right.
they're ready to go onto the main roster. I think they bring a lot of cool shit.
Mm,
If it happens in the Royal Rumble, if Trick Williams does show up, that place is gonna
mm,
explode. It's gonna be like the
right.
loudest whoop that Trick we've ever heard.
Mm.
Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade are some of the greatest women wrestlers
I
on
mean,
TV
Roxanne
right
is
now.
the greatest women's wrestler,
It's
but
the greatest. I mean, they're always just like stealing the show week after week. I think
mm,
it's just gonna be a whole new level of quality to the main roster's women division.
mm,
I'm very excited to see what they do with them and hope to God they do actually get called up because I don't really honestly see a reason to keep them in NXT anymore.
mm,
There's a lot of good matches these people could have with main roster people, and
mm.
we want to see them.
I agree. Yeah, I think, yeah, Trick fully developed. He's ready to go, and I can't wait. I would assume, I mean, he can go anywhere, but it would be kind of cool to see him go to SmackDown and kind of have an interaction with Mello. I think that would be awesome. Um,
I had a thought about this.
okay,
I I want it to be in the draft, and I want him to have the number one draft pick on SmackDown
okay, yep,
just to get that feud going already.
yeah, that'd be great. I like that. Um, yeah, Cora and Roxanne. Roxanne is, I mean, but I'm gonna tell the people like she's my favorite female wrestler, right now and has been for a minute. I think she's just miles above most women, especially in NXT though. She's just on like a different level. She's developed. She's ready to go, and I think Cora Jade, she's been plagued with injury, but I think the same thing of like she hasn't had as much TV time, but the whole time she's been in NXT, she's obviously been training with the coaches and stuff. I'm pretty sure she's ready to go as well. She just hasn't been able to get as much TV time because she's been injured. But yeah, I think they're going up, and I think a great way to kind of introduce them. I'm pretty sure Roxanne's losing the title to Julia on Tuesday when they do the title match, and if not, my thought is that she's losing it there, and she's getting a rematch, or she retains and they're just doing a rematch in general at Stand and Deliver, and then it could be a simple Raw or SmackDown after WrestleMania. Roxanne and Cora show up, but I think a great way to introduce them would be have them go for the tag titles, man. I feel like
Mhm.
that women's tag title division, they've done a better, they've done better in the past year, but it's always still kind of a struggle. And a lot of times it's very thrown together. Like this year has been great because you have Bianca and Jade, and it makes sense, and they're a very strong tag team and stuff. Um, but I think a great way to I think everyone at some point expects Roxanne Perez to be like women's champion or women's world champion stuff, but
Mhm.
she's young. She's got years and years and years to do that. So I think a great way to introduce them would to be have them like go after the women's tag titles off the jump. Um,
That would be a great way to get both them and those tag titles a lot
right,
more publicity, I feel like.
right. Um, when it comes to Ethan Page, that's another thing. He hasn't been in NXT as long, but y'all can love it or hate it. But AEW is a TV product. Um, so he's been developing in reality on a TV product before he was in NXT. So I think he's ready to go. I think what else is there? Not only that, but he's also been wrestling for like 20 years at this point, and the WB system is different. But I think by the end of next year, I think he'll understand everything he needs to about how to work in the WB system, and then all of his other experience as a wrestler over 20 years and his time in AEW. I think he's just ready to go. So I think he's another one that'll just probably get called up maybe in the draft. Um, when it comes to the D'Angelo family, I think that's another thing. Tony D'Angelo's been there way too long, man. He's been there, since he's been there since Melo and Grayson Waller were down. Like that
Mhm.
first episode of NXT 2.0, whenever that was, like 2021, I think. He was there. He was there with Melo and Trick and Grayson Waller and Braun Breaker and Von Wagner. You know what I'm saying? He's been there. It's time for him to go up. I think Stax is in the same thing. I think he's ready to go. And then when it comes to like Luca Crucifino and the Rizzo girl, they're still kind of green. They're still kind of developing. But I feel like they'd still be okay on the main roster. I feel like they can kind of learn the rest of what they need to while they're on the road, And I think the same thing with Fatal Influence. I mean, JC Jane has been there since like 2019, 2020, something like that. She's probably, if we look at like the NXT roster, she's probably the longest tenured person on the NXT roster. It's time for her to go up, and I think when I think of it, I think her when it was Toxic Attraction, it was her, Gigi, and Mandy. They were gonna go up. I think once Mandy lost that NXT Women's title, they were going up, and then the stuff happened with Mandy, and she got fired, and then everything kind of crumbled. So I think then she kind of, she was kind of just floundering and kind of just there. They didn't have much for her, but now she basically has Toxic Attraction 2.0. So I'm pretty sure it's like once Fallon Henley loses the North American Championship, pretty sure the three of them are going up. Fallon Henley's another one that's ready to go. And the Jasmine Nix girl is another one who's new, but she's pretty solid in the ring. And I think she can kind of wrap up what she needs to figure out developmental-wise while she's on the road.
Mhm. Definitely a lot of NXT superstars that are ready to go, that have been there for a long time, that we need to see on the main roster. I don't
Right.
need the Dawn of NXT. I need the Dawn of WWE.
Right.
I need
The
a
dawn of
main
Monday Night
roster.
Raw.
Yeah. Dawn of SmackDown, whatever.
Mhm. Yeah,
To keep
I think so too.
yeah. To keep on the NXT train, I'm gonna just kind of go through these a little bit quickly because there's only like two of them really.
Mhm.
Axiom and Nathan Frazier will have the feud of NXT this year.
Okay.
I think they have been an incredible tag team
Mhm.
thus far.
I would
Really good
say
champions.
they're tag team of the year in any company.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I think that's a
100%.
fair or just yeah, it's fair.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I love them. I think they're an
Mhm.
amazing tag team, but I think there are some cracks starting to form, and I
Mhm.
think they're going to break off at some point this year, and they're going to be feuding with each other, and they're going to be having banger after banger after banger of
Mhm.
matches, and
I
I,
can
for
see it.
one, can't wait to see that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And then the last one, Obafemi is going to become NXT champion, and he's going to be one of the most dominant NXT champions of all
Oh yeah.
time. That man is
I
going to
mean,
kill
yeah.
people in the ring.
That man's gonna be NXT champion for like at least a year and a half straight.
Yeah, for sure.
He's gonna have a Roman run in NXT. It's gonna be insane.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. That's exactly what I'm picturing.
and I'll add to that. I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious at this point, but I'm pretty sure Julia's winning the NXT Women's Championship.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Whether it be this coming week when they do the match or something like Stand and Deliver, but within the next year, she's gonna be not only she's gonna be NXT Women's Champion, she's gonna be the face of like the females for NXT for the next year.
Hmm.
And I can't wait because she is on another level too.
Yeah, she's
All right, I
definitely great.
forgot.
I think she's gonna have a great
We
title
kind
run.
of mixed predictions. So do you want to go next, or do you want me to go?
Uh, I'll go next because
I only have two left. So
I'll go. I'll go next. I
okay,
got a lot more
all
than
right,
two left.
okay.
New Day will have the storyline of 2025.
Mm,
I think they've already been doing incredible stuff with
mm,
turning Xavier and Kofi heel. I
mm,
think even if it's not in like a wrestling aspect, I think if they bring back Big E
mm,
a lot more, I think they can definitely build up something incredible.
mm.
These two have been getting treated like Dominic Mysterio, how they cannot get a word out without just the entire arena booing them every
I
single
mean,
time they get a microphone to their mouth.
even Kofi's mom disowned him.
Even Kofi's mom did. Do you know how crazy that is? That's crazy.
Right,
This
right,
man was like the baby face of baby faces for over a decade.
right. That man is never a heel. Really,
Yeah.
they were heels when New Day first started, and no one realizes it because they it was just so forgettable.
Hmm.
But other than that, like Kofi has been like a Rey Mysterio type, just straight babyface his whole career.
Right. I think heel New Day is going to be bringing a lot of good stuff. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how they progress through that through 2025, being these big heels hated by everybody because of betraying Big E. I think it's going to be very exciting stuff to see.
Side note, my New Day T-shirt that I have is very comfortable. I've been wearing it a lot. I've
Great
been
side
enjoying
note.
wearing that. Been enjoying wearing my $15 New Day T-shirt.
Ladies and
Shout out
gentlemen,
WWB
the New
Shop.
Day shirt is comfortable as can be.
WWB Shop. It was on sale, $15 when I bought Theo his John Cena T-shirt for Christmas. So very
There you
comfy. Yeah, I think I think yeah, I agree with you. I think they're gonna have an incredible run, and I think a lot of people are predicting and hoping that both those fools are gonna be in the Rumble, and all of a sudden you're gonna hear, "Y'all want to go big? Then say that." And
go. That
and
place will go crazy if that
they're
music
also
hits.
Woods and Kofi are very great. I mean, all three of them are really good at like selling with their facials, you know. So
Mhm.
the moment if that were to happen, and the moment that song hits, and the camera zooms in on Kofi and Woods' face, they're gonna give the reaction of a lifetime, and it's
Oh
gonna
yeah,
be
for sure.
incredible. I don't know if it's gonna happen,
That'll be one of the
but
moments of the year for sure.
that's not even a prediction for me. That's just a hope. Like I hope that happens.
It's a spoiler.
Either it's either that, right? Either Biggie comes at the Rumble or something like that, or it's got to be something like, oh, the New Day get a title shot at WrestleMania, and right when they're
Mhm.
about to win, Biggie comes through and costs them at WrestleMania or something like that. It
Yeah,
has to be something
that
big. But Biggie has to get his lick back, man.
he's
You
got to get
can't just
involved.
set him up to be buried like that and just destroyed and ripped to shreds. To just like we can't never see like you can't do that to him, and then we never see him other than like he's just on the kickoff shows again, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So he needs to definitely get that. That's a prediction and a hope for next year is that Big E Big E gets his lick back. Put that on a t-shirt.
And you know what? It'll be a comfortable t-shirt too.
Yep, it will be. It will be. I'm wearing a Kyrie Sane t-shirt right now. This one's pretty comfy, but it's not as comfy as the New Day shirt.
The New Day shirt is always the comfiest shirt.
It's nice, man. It's nice. All right. I'm gonna if we're kind of we talked about a return, hopeful return of Big E to the ring. Here's a return that is definitely gonna happen, and I don't want to be rude, but neither you or I want to see it happen because we're not really big fans of this person. But like Poe Dameron said in Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, somehow Palpatine returned. I'm gonna say somehow Flair returns. And
Ric Flair?
that can go. Well, here's the thing. That's going to go either way. So when I wrote it, I was talking about Ric Flair, but then I started realizing that Charlotte Flair is coming back soon for sure. So the definite prediction is that Charlotte Flair is coming back probably at the Rumble, and she's probably going to win it. We talked about it for a second before we started. I had listed as a prediction that Tiffany Stratton would successfully cash in Money in the Bank, and as of last night, that happened.
Yeah.
So I'm 1 for 1.
You're 1 for 1 right now. You got it.
But I do think that Charlotte Flair is probably going to return at the Rumble. She's probably going to win the Rumble. And now that Tiffany Stratton is champion, I can definitely see, like, my prediction is that's going to be the Mania match. It's going to be Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton. You have two just crazy, like, genetic freaks of nature going at it at WrestleMania. And I think that's what Triple H sees. And I think that's what Triple H is booking. So Charlotte Flair is probably returning at the Rumble, and she's probably winning it and challenging Tiffany Stratton. But my actual prediction when I wrote this down, yeah, somehow Palpatine returns. Somehow Ric Flair returns. I keep hearing about it. I keep hearing unwillingly every other week. I hear this man on some interview or some report somewhere that this man says he wants to have another match, and I'm getting to the point where I'm just waiting for the announcement at this point. So I think Ric Flair is going to have one last match, one last time in 2025. I think Ric Flair is going to find some way to have another wrestling match, whether it can't be a singles match. He'll die. So it'll probably be another tag match.
Braun Strowman.
It'll probably be another tag match or something of the sorts. And I can't wait to hear that announcement and hate my life. But I will be tuned in. I will be watching because everybody loves a train wreck. So, and
That
it's hard to
motherfucker
not look
does look
at
like
the train wreck.
that motherfucker does look like Palpatine.
He kind of does, yeah. He also somehow looks like our grandmother.
Yeah.
All
I don't know
right,
which one's a worse insult.
I got one last one on here, so I'm gonna let you raffle off as many as you want until.
Okay.
So
I'm
okay,
gonna.
well, my last
Yeah.
one has to do with Cena,
hmm
so that could be our last little
That's
discussion as
also
we
my
just,
last one, so we could just
yeah,
talk
that's
about
what I was gonna
seeing that
say.
for the
So
last.
we could
Yeah.
just wrap the episode up with the Cena discussion. So you go off on whatever tangent you need to go off on, and then we can end it with John Cena.
Okay. Bronson Reed will kill Akira Tozawa with numerous tsunamis.
Okay.
I pictured this I think I wrote that at around midnight, and I was just kind of picturing it, and I was like, that would be kind of funny if
Right.
that's just how he goes out.
It would be
Okay,
funnier if they find a way for Akira Tozawa to just disappear.
that would be funny. He gets tsunamied through the ring and then gets
Right.
never seen again.
Right. Right. Or he shows up like in NXT with a new gimmick or something.
Okay. Let's see. Judgment Day will end.
Yeah.
In brackets after that, I have please, please, please. I think I just really wanted that to happen, and I still kind
Okay.
of do.
Okay. I
Kaiser
mean, I'm
and
ready for
Gunther.
the I'm ready
Oh,
for the I'm ready for the Finn Balor run of 2025. That's another prediction I'll throw
he
in there.
needs a revival so
Yes,
badly.
I agree.
Ludwig Kaiser and Gunther will be feuding at some point this year, and it will be amazing.
Okay. I feel like
Street
that's not gonna
Profits.
happen.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's not gonna happen. I feel like they're together forever, man. I feel like they're best buds.
I don't know. I need to see a match between these two. That's the thing. I think it'd
Okay.
be just amazing. Street Profits will become new tag champions.
Okay.
I think they desperately kind of need that.
I agree.
They're a great tag team. Both very
As
great
as
wrestlers.
much as the Motor City Machine Guns are my favorite tag team of all time, and I hope and probably will happen that they will win the tag titles again at some
hmm
point. When it comes to the story with DIY, I feel like the Street Profits have to be the ones to take it from them because although DIY screwed over, the Motor City Machine Guns by, low blowing Chris Sabin and stuff like that, at the same time, they've constantly been screwing over the Street Profits. So I feel like, yeah, the Street Profits have to be the ones to get the win over DIY for the tag titles.
hmm
And then after that, you can
Uh,
go anywhere. After that, you can put the titles back on Motor City. You can give it to Pretty Deadly, anything.
yeah. I just need to see another good Street Profits tag title
Yeah,
run.
I agree.
Let's see. Austin Theory face turn. We
Hopefully.
need it. Hopefully.
Yeah, I would love that.
I've been one of I think his biggest fans for a little while now. Ever since his U.S. title run, I've really just kind of liked him. I've liked his wrestling style. I've liked him as a heel. But
Mhm.
I think if he were to have some sort of face turn, I think that would really elevate him into hopefully some sort of maybe mid card title arena.
Mhm.
I just want to see more of Austin Theory. I think he's great. I think he can do a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I would like to see that too. I feel like that team has kind of run the gambit, and I think it was almost a year ago at this point, like around almost like WrestleMania time last year, where you and I both, I think, were kind of like feel like it's time to kind of split these guys up after they do this stuff with Logan Paul. Um,
Right.
so yeah, I think that team has run the gambit. Um, I feel like there was never much to that team in general. It was just like, here's two cocky, arrogant heels that are very similar. Let's just put them together. There wasn't like super amounts of depth to that team. And they even kind of teased it at one point a few months ago where it seemed like Theory was going to turn on him, and then they just never pulled the trigger. So I feel
Right.
like, yeah, I feel like it's definitely time. I feel like Austin Theory, I like both of them. I think Austin Theory is great. I've worked with Austin Theory, and he was a really cool dude. And a great performer, even back when he was on the Indies. And I think Grayson Waller is also great. I think he's great at getting under people's skin, but I also think he has really cool, innovative kind of moves and stuff like that. I think he's a pretty solid worker too. But yeah, I think like when it comes to Theory, I think there's like an untapped potential with that guy. Like there's something there that Vince. I mean, we can sit here and fault Vince for being a horrible person, But
Right.
Vince did have an eye for talent, and I think Vince saw something in him. That's why Vince was pushing him so hard. It's just kind of they went the wrong way about it, and the fans were rejecting him. But there is talent there, and I think instead of him being a heel, I think he's meant to be a babyface. I think truly, like, it sounds crazy, man, but I think he almost could be the next, like, kind of John Cena. I feel like if you market him right and package him right and do everything right with him, he could be someone that is like the face of the company.
Hmm. He
Um,
definitely could be. I
but you
need to
just
see
got
it
to get
happen.
there,
You just
right?
gotta get there, yeah. I think I'm gonna do one last one before we talk John Cena.
Okay.
This one isn't so much a prediction as it is just kind of a need. I
Mhm.
need Dirty Dom to be like a main player in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
This kid is incredible. I think he's been putting in a lot of work. I think he's been doing a lot of good character work. Definitely has shown a lot of respect for the business and whatnot. I need to
Mhm.
see at least like an Intercontinental or US title reign or something like that. I need to see some
Right.
more focus on Dirty Dom because he really just is kind of taking a backseat to this whole Liv Rhea thing. I don't want him involved in that. I don't want him involved in Judgment Day. I don't want him involved with Rey Mysterio. I just need to see him going off
Right.
and fighting people and doing stuff and showing
Right.
people that, hey, I'm good at what I do.
Right. And he is great. And I thought it was funny. I think I talked to Elias, my partner in OTS Project, about this a little bit ago, where I was like, isn't it funny how this was a guy that, like, when Dom first came up and he had that match with Rollins, and then he was with, he was teaming with his dad and stuff. He was like a guy that, he was still super new. Like, I mean, his literal first match ever was against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. No one
Mhm,
does that. People in NXT, their first match is not on NXT TV. Their first match is at a live event in Largo, Florida against someone else. You know what I'm saying? Like, where they can fail and it doesn't matter because the only people that see it are the, 200 people that are in that armory or whatever. So it's like he had a lot of pressure because he did something that no one else did, where his first legitimate match was on SummerSlam against like one of the best wrestlers ever. Um,
mhm.
and so I feel like a lot of people were very judgmental of him because he was, there were times where he would kind of botch or slip up and stuff. And I constantly saw all this hate and all this, like, they need to either send him to NXT or they need to fire him. He needs to go to the Performance Center or he needs to go work the indies and learn how to wrestle and stuff like that. I'm like, isn't it funny how, 2 years later, he is praised by everybody when he's not supposed to because he's the bad guy. But, like,
Mhm.
everybody loves him. No one says a bad thing about Dom. You
Right.
know, I'm like, it's definitely interesting how that goes.
Yeah.
But I agree, like, it's time for him to be able to show what he can really do. I feel like he's actually really sound in the ring and he's really good, but he doesn't
Mhm.
get to show it because he kind of has to just, like, with him, it's like the gimmick comes before the moves kind of thing, and like he has really good in-ring work. So, like, yeah, I would like to see that shine a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
But
All right,
step one
John
of that
Cena time.
is getting away from Rhea and probably Liv, because I also, to go back to the whole this thing ends, I also feel like once Liv loses the title, the idea is going to be that she's immediately going to drop Dom, and when he's heartbroken over it, she's going to be like, dude, I was just using you to get to Rhea, bro. Like, come on, let's be real, bro. You think I really would want to, like, be with you like that? Come on, bro. And I feel like, if
Well,
anything,
your
as
mustache isn't
crazy as
even
it
that
sounds,
good.
right? And as crazy as that sounds, I feel like that could be a way you actually turn Dom face, because people, even though he's been a piece of shit for 2 years, people will feel sympathetic that his girlfriend just, like, broke his heart and, like, shit on him.
Right. It could definitely work.
So, all right, it's time for the goat.
Yeah, baby.
All
John
right,
Cena.
I'll give mine. My This is how it's written, right? Cena wins everything.
It's like that one. It's like the one game where Sheamus has like 12 belts along his arm, but it's
Yes,
just John
yes,
Cena.
yes. That road to WrestleMania where Sheamus wins everything. He's got the Divas title. He's got the
Yeah.
European title that didn't even
Yeah.
exist anymore. All that. Yeah, I'm gonna say John Cena wins everything. I wrote Cena wins everything, comma, Cena versus Orton last match. That's my prediction.
Mm.
So I'm gonna say John Cena wins everything. Um, how they book that is not my problem. That's Triple H's problem. Um, but I could see. Okay, so I don't know if you've seen this, but the past like day or so, I have seen this. My ex has been full of it. There have been multiple. There's been a report that has been like kind of corroborated by other like wrestling news people that claim that John Cena versus Cody Rhodes is the plan for WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen that or not, but
I haven't. I don't care for it.
I'm on board. I think it's a great idea.
Are you?
I think it's a great idea. I think it's gonna sound crazy, right? But this is his year. This is his last year.
Mm-hmm.
We want him to win everything. So I think, as crazy as it may sound, I think he dethrones Cody at WrestleMania. And I think that's the way to go, because in reality, I feel like Triple H is kind of in a weird situation where there's no one else that can really beat Cody, because it's like there's no one that's on the level of Cody or Roman, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, other than maybe Punk. So I feel like Cena beating Cody at WrestleMania and having a run with the undisputed title, and then maybe dropping it back to Cody at SummerSlam or something like that could make sense. He gets his 17th championship or whatever, and he gets that, and then I think the last little bit of the year, he can go after that IC title that he never had.
Mm-hmm. I don't
And
have
then he
so
ends
much
it with
any sort of like
Randy Orton.
I don't have so much like moments predictions.
Mhm.
I think he definitely needs to win. Either he needs to have the most title reigns of any world champion ever, or he needs to become a Grand Slam champion, one way or the other. Hopefully
Yeah.
both. That'd be great.
Right.
But I have more so like opponents that he's going to face
Yeah.
throughout his like farewell tour. Whether it
Mhm.
just be like one-off matches or little feuds here and there, something.
Right. Well, let me say,
I've
like,
got
okay, so let me just say, when
Right.
it comes to like just telling the story, I definitely think we want both to happen, but I feel like it's more likely that only one's gonna happen. And I feel like
Mhm.
Cena now is like he doesn't seem like a very selfish person. So I feel like he himself would probably be like, let's maybe just shoot for one, because if I shoot for both, it's kind of just doing a little too much. Which we, even though we want it, I still would see where he was coming from with that. You know what I'm saying? Because also, again, you got to think like, okay, if we give him a title, like we give him the WWE Championship, we give him the IC Championship, but then we also want to try and fit in all these other one-off matches. It's like there's a lot to juggle, and a year is not a long time when you really think about it, to kind of mix everything together, you know?
Right.
But go ahead with your matches.
My list of opponents here. I've started off with the two very obvious ones, Randy Orton and CM Punk. These have to happen in some way. I'd like it if they did the CM Punk one at SummerSlam, just for like the history of that.
Right.
I think would be pretty cool. I also have the Miz on there. I just want to see them go one more time.
That would be cool.
I have some newer guys I think would be cool to see him face in both Gunther and Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
I think those would be pretty cool matches.
Mhm.
Him and Rey Mysterio, I think, would be a pretty interesting match to see. I know they're both
Hell yeah.
baby faces. It'd be more of a respect match, but I think they are both
You know,
legends in their own right.
you gave me an idea, and it will not
Okay.
happen. It will not happen. But you gave me an idea. There's only, out of the whole course of John Cena's run, I've been here through it all, right? He was my hero as a kid. I've seen it all. There was only one night where I hated John Cena, and that was when he beat Rey Mysterio for the WWE Championship or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When Rey won it from Miz earlier in the night because it was vacant, and then in the main event, Cena just shows up and just won it, and I was pissed. It's not gonna happen, but I would love if that man dropped the title to Rey Mysterio.
Dude,
maybe
that would
it
be
could happen.
crazy.
It could happen. It could happen with the IC title. It wouldn't happen if he was like the main champion. But if Cena was IC champion and dropped it to Rey, that would be incredible. If Rey,
That would be
like
amazing.
over 10 years later, Rey finally gets his revenge on
He
Cena,
got his
that would be
revenge.
incredible. That would be
The
incredible.
revenge of Rey.
Especially imagine if John wins the IC title and then Rey just shows up in the same night and is like, "You want to defend that title?" You know? That would be great. That would be incredible.
I would
That's
love
like the
that
main
so
thing I would love to
much.
see happen. Is Rey over 10 years later finally gets his revenge on Cena?
That would be amazing. I have some, I guess like 2015, 2016 feuds here.
Mm.
Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens. I want to see
Okay.
all of them go one more time with him.
Right.
And then I have my two special ones. My two little fun ones here at the bottom.
Okay.
I've got Kofi Kingston as the first one.
Okay.
I think would be really fun to see. I don't know if we've ever even seen them face off in a match before. I
Right.
could be wrong, but I think that'd be a cool match
I
to see.
feel like you probably haven't because they've both primarily been
They've
baby
both been
faces.
faces the entire time.
Right. Maybe on a
Uh,
house show somewhere.
maybe that'd be like the only thing I could really think of.
Right.
And then the final one, my favorite. This one is honestly more so my favorite than any other opponent that I've listed so far. I
Okay.
need to see John Cena versus R-Truth in a match.
Yes.
I need to see R-Truth go up against his childhood hero.
That'd be great.
It doesn't even have to be at a pay-per-view. It could just be on like a Raw or something like that. But it would just be.
Yeah.
I would love it. So
That would be awesome.
it has the potential to be one of the funniest matches to ever happen. I need to
What
see
would also be funny though too, I would love if they teamed up and they won the tag titles.
it.
I
That
think
would be
that would be
amazing.
great. And you tell that story of R-Truth just like crying, being like, I can't believe I won the tag titles with my childhood hero.
They definitely need to do some
I think
stuff
that would
with
be awesome.
Cena and Truth this year for the retirement
Oh
tour
yeah,
for sure.
for sure. When
That's
it
all my
comes to
opponents.
a younger person that I would love to see him have a match with, it probably wouldn't necessarily be a pay-per-view, but it would more so probably be on like a SmackDown.
Right.
I would love to see him have a match with Carmelo Hayes.
Oh, I should have added him. That would have been so good. Yes,
I
absolutely.
think that would be really cool. I think that would be a great match. Melo has like the the speediness. Imagine he goes for that springboard clothesline, Cena catches him into an attitude adjustment
Oh
type
my
of deal.
God,
That'd
yes.
be awesome. Yeah, so that's like the one young guy off rip that I could think of that I would love to see John Cena have a match with. But yeah, Gunther, I feel like that's definitely gonna happen, and Braun Breaker also would be great.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I think Randy and Cena is the last match. I think that's it.
That's got to be the last match for sure.
But do we think like where do we know it's gonna be in December, but it's like where? Because there's no like premium live event in December,
It
so it's
may just
like
be like the last like SmackDown or Raw or whatever. I think
right, or
end the
maybe
year
if
off
if they're
strong.
doing Saturday night's main event, maybe they'll do it there.
Oh, maybe that'd be a
Yeah,
good place to do it.
but yeah. Is that who you say is his last opponent too? Is Orton?
Yeah, it has to be Orton.
Yeah, I think so too. Um, too bad. Too bad. Edge is no longer there because that would be.
I know.
I would
I
almost
was.
want to see that match more than Orton. To be honest with
Yeah, honestly, that would have been so good.
you. Or should I call him Cope? Since that's his
You
new
don't have
name.
to do that. You don't have to do that.
All right. Well, I think that's it. I think
Yeah,
we've gone through
that's
our
everything on my
predictions.
list.
Yep, my list is cleared. So that's I think we're gonna end our first episode with that, with John Cena winning everything and riding off into the sunset.
Yep.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you've listened to this whole hour of a podcast, our first podcast, me and Theo would like to thank you. We appreciate it. We're gonna be doing a lot more of these. And hopefully we can grow this, like we said, into a really cool community where everyone can connect over wrestling, as well as other things like Star Wars or jazz music or Marvel or movies in general, things like that. It would be really cool. Again, I want to thank the Wrestling Nerds Radio Network for letting us be a part of this. Theo, you got anything you want to add before we end it?
Thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Jimmy Wang Yang, year 2025, it's happening.
Hell yeah! And somehow Ric Flair returns.
Jimmy Wang Yang versus Ric Flair, WrestleMania.
There we go. All right, y'all. Thank you for listening to the first episode of the OTS Project, and we will see you on the next episode. Thank you.